Nothing we say is investment advice. Please pause on all 3 pages of this disclaimer and read it.
Good morning, everybody. Cowboy here. It is 8:31 a.m. EST, and we're taking a look at the NASDAQ. We're also going to take a look at the USDJPY. Seeing some interesting things over there. The Bank of Japan hiked their rate to the highest levels since 1995, and that means a lot to all of the markets around the world, especially and including the U.S. stock market. So we're going to talk about what might happen there, what's happened so far. We got SGCS4NN. Good morning, sir or ma'am, whichever you may be. Good to have you here. If you have any charts you want to see, just ask. You know, if you are watching this after the fact, you can ask me to chart on this show or leave a request in the comments. Either way, like and subscribe, do all that cool stuff. And we're going to talk about the charts right now. So the NASDAQ is back near its all-time highs, and I called all the stuff out. I called out how we'll probably see a resolution to Iran, quote unquote, pretty quickly. Of course, you know, we've been in and out of almost having a deal for like, you know, several months. Oh, there's a deal. Oh, there's a deal. Oh, there's not a deal. Oh, there's a deal. Market goes up, market goes down. But a relatively solid deal, I say relatively solid deal was founded last week. And so we'll see how that goes. I think they're going to hold off on signing it until Friday, last I heard. But, you know, it's a fluid situation. Long story short, though, the markets moved right back up to the all-time highs. Like, so everybody panicked, and the market fell from, 30,820-ish all the way down to, what is this, 28,230 or so. And that's a big move. I think the overall drop in the NASDAQ in particular was, yeah, like 8%. I mean, that's like billions, if not trillions of dollars. And that happened pretty quickly. And of course, that happened as a result of, I think it was a sell-off where money and dry powder was being created for the SpaceX IPO. And we'll talk a little bit about that today, but we're going to go ahead and focus on this for now and what may happen. So we had the news, and we had a gap up on the futures open on Sunday. So this is the NASDAQ futures right here. And this box right there is the gap. So I'll zoom in on that so you can actually kind of get a better look at that. And you can see that price actually opened and gapped up there. So the futures, so many people were buying that there's nobody to sell to, and it opened up a fair percent higher than where it closed on Friday, right? Actually, from the high on Friday, the actual close was much lower. So the gap up on the 3-hour chart is as you see it. And so price tends to come back to grab those gaps on the CME. That doesn't mean it's absolutely going to happen. There's a good chance it will. And so what I'm expecting right now is, first of all, bias is long on this right now. It seems like they're going to go ahead and hold the markets up for now. We have the SpaceX IPO. We have other IPOs coming like OpenAI and I think Anthropic. They're, in my opinion, going to do everything they can to keep the markets from falling because they want to bring in everybody for these IPOs. And if the markets are weak, no one's going to want to invest. And so I think all the stops will be pulled to keep this going, right? So we have, I think, a possible rejection at the all-time high for the NASDAQ coming. It might not happen, but again, this is just a possible rejection at 30,830. And then it may go back down and grab the gap and head back up. So the bias is very long on all of this, right? High time frame, mid time frame. Most bias on this is long. That means that price wants to go up under most circumstances. So I'm only interested in taking longs because that is the direction of the trend. That being the case, I would either look for a retracement down and grab a long near this gap if it even gets that low. And again, that number is somewhere around 29,850-ish, right? Maybe a little bit lower, 29,830. And then I would take a long there, wherever that might be. And then I would be out before the all-time high. So I'd actually be out of that long prior to the all-time high, which is around 30,830 or so. If price does break above, then I would wait for it to break above and grab a long on the way up to one of these targets up here. And I would be conservative because this week has a lot of data coming out. I already did see the Bank of Japan and the Australian rate come out And I think the only other rate that could really shake the NASDAQ is going to be the US rate, which happens on Wednesday, I believe at 2 p.m. So I'd be kind of conservative until at least that happens. But if price breaks above this 30,830, then I would consider a long, and I'd be out before the 31,465 mark. So that's what I'm looking at for the NASDAQ. And it's what I predicted yesterday. And by the way, yesterday, all these marks you see on the chart are from yesterday's predictions, and it's so far so good, right? What I called has so far happened in the 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, so the last 18 hours or whatever it's been since I posted that video. It's been about 12 hours. So I will go ahead and move on. We got a request for MKTX from SGCS4NN. MKTX. Market Access Holdings. I mean, let me back out. So far, it looks like a sinking ship. It's a pretty bearish chart right now. It could recoil upwards. I mean, it does always have the capability to have a bear market rally. But honestly, whatever this is, if you back out, it looks like a failing company. Since 2021, it's done nothing but go down. If I backed out and looked at the monthly chart just to get a real high time frame view, it did really well from December of 08, which everything did well from 08. And then it started to fall around January of 2021, and it's done nothing but fall since January of 2021. And I'm looking at the chart, not knowing anything about this company, but I can tell you that since January of 2021, it's gone down something like 80%, maybe 70%, 81%. It's gone down. As of the open today, it'll be down 80.79%. It's a pretty good estimate on my part. I said 80% based on what, just really quick math on that. So, understand that I know what I'm doing. Now, with that, this is a very heavy looking chart. I would be interested in shorting it and nothing else. This is in a downtrend. If you just look at, this is the monthly, this is in a monthly downtrend, right? So all it's doing is making lower lows and lower highs. Now, might it bounce right here? I mean, sure. I don't see a reason for it to really bounce on a high time frame until all the way down. Oops, let me fix that. Until all the way down, say, about here. There's no structural reason for this to bounce until $75, which is like, 40% down from where it is right now. Okay. So understand that this chart just does not look good for longs. And anytime I enter a position and for whatever reason, what I was doing no longer makes sense, I don't care what I've done. I am out, right? I'm just out, right? So do I expect, this is just a bearish chart. I don't have anything to tell you other than it looks like it wants to continue down. Yeah, sure. It can maybe pop up a little bit here and there, but because it is so bearish high time frame, I can't tell you if whatever pop up happens is going to happen, is it going to pop up right now? I don't know. I think it might kind of grind a little bit, and then what? This thing is so bearish that whatever pop up it has can just simply be rejected. So it's extremely unpredictable. This is just people selling out of a stock long term, nothing going on that I like. If it popped up at all, obviously it's gone up a little bit. It went from 113 up to 124. Okay, but maybe it just goes up to 129, right? Or maybe it pops up a little higher and it goes to something like let's see, maybe like 137, or maybe you get a miracle pop up and it goes all the way to 154. But you don't know that that's going to happen, and the probability is against it. Okay, it's very, very. This, as far as I'm concerned, the stock's trash. Unless there's some kind of news, merger or something I don't know about. But I would be personally not involved with this except for shorting it. There's no way to know how high any of these pop-ups are going to go. Like anybody who bought here is probably going to sell as this starts to come up. Okay, it's a very bearish look. Last thing I'll look at before we go to the private live lab is going to be the USDJPY. Okay, now this is interesting because 160 is the magic number. They don't want price to go above 160, right? So you can either, kind of just look at the high to keep this really simple. And this is a 3-hour chart, right? So if I were to go ahead and back out so we can see a higher time frame chart, it'll give you a little more perspective on the weekly. But you'll notice here that we have the 162 right there, right? And USDJPY is very bullish right now. The dollar is getting stronger. We're going to find out. I think we're probably just going to see a rate hold on Wednesday. I don't know that they're going to hike just yet. I don't know that they want to like throw water on the rally right now. I think they need the rally. I think if they are going to hike the rate in the US, then they must have a lot of money ready to just continue to buy stocks, or they're confident that the people will not be concerned about a rate hike, right? Because at this point, it would be a little bit of a surprise to hike rates, but then again, who knows? Maybe they'll just want to hike into strength, right? That might be the case as well. I mean, it's impossible to know what they're going to do on Wednesday, but the USDJPY hiked. And I don't know what time the hike happened exactly, but price continues to go up here. The Japanese yen continues to be weak despite the hike. And they want to, this is the weekly chart, by the way, so we'll zoom in a little bit, but they want to keep price below this 160 as much as they can. That's where they want to defend their currency. And they even spent a lot of money doing that a few weeks ago. Now, if I zoom in, let's take a look on the 3-hour chart. If I zoom in a bit, then you can see, even on the 3-hour chart, not a lot has changed since they hiked the rate. So it does seem that the market is still more confident in the dollar than it is the Japanese yen. Now, the Bank of Japan and all the analysts seem to be signaling gradualism. We'll hike the rates later. But if their economy is in trouble, they're going to have to defend their currency. So I don't really, nobody really knows what's going to happen. But right now, it's kind of holding where it is, right? And we've seen a lot of these interventions where they're just spending a bunch of money to knock the price down, like right here, and a bunch of times on the way up. So it's a very difficult currency pair to trade right now outside of very small scalps. So I'll probably avoid trading that. So that's the interesting look, though. The fact that it hasn't really gone down, even though they hiked. And the U.S. market is holding steady even though they hiked, because Japanese yen is a very important part of the entire larger financial picture, okay? So keep an eye on that. I think, again, if to believe the analysts, they won't probably hike until something like October. We'll see about it. We have eyes on October for major events, and we'll see about that as well. In the meantime, we are going to head over to the private live lab. SGCS4 and in. I think we'll have to take a look at your request tomorrow, so pop on to here tomorrow morning, 8:30 a.m. EST, and we'll take a look at your stock. What is that? AEM, and we'll do it then. I appreciate you coming on and watching, but we're going to go ahead and give our time to the private paying customers and the charts that they are requesting. Thank you all for watching. Like, subscribe, free algo in the description. So go in the description. There's a free algorithm in there. Click on that and you will see me build an algo. I'll turn it into code on that video using Grok, although you can use Gemini, you can use ChatGPT or anything else. And then what I will do on that video is I will show you tools that traders use to connect that algo to their brokerage so it can trade for them. But you have to optimize the algo first, right? You can't just plug it in and play it. You have to understand how to optimize it for whatever you are trading. So make sure you do that first, and we teach you how to do that at algofactory.tech. So algofactory.tech, learn how to trade like a hedge fund pro, and do not forget.
Join us or die.
Just kidding. You're not going to die. We love you.